On the morning of December 21, 1980, a woman in her 40s entered a jail cell in Los Angeles, California. Already occupying the cell was another inmate named Ida Louise Smith, a 32-year-old woman who had been in custody for 4 days. The police suspected Ida's involvement in the brutal murder of a nurse in the area, yet they were unclear about the extent of her role. Ida remained enigmatic, offering little explanation for the information she possessed. Ida had endured a 10-hour interrogation, a polygraph test, and a thorough strip search, but she steadfastly refused to confess or divulge details about the crime. Frustrated, the police decided to employ a different approach. A woman in her 40s, appearing to be an inmate, entered Ida's cell. However, this woman was an undercover cop tasked with befriending Ida, gaining her trust, and coaxing information from her. As the undercover cop entered the cell, the door closed behind her, enclosing them with Ida. Ida, awakened by the commotion, sat up on her bench, observing the newcomer. The undercover cop noticed Ida's seemingly calm demeanor, contrasting sharply with the gravity of the situation. Ida, appearing unassuming, struck the undercover cop as paradoxically harmless and potentially dangerous. Maintaining a neutral persona, the undercover cop engaged Ida in conversation, inquiring about the reason for her incarceration. Ida, with a brief smile, cryptically mentioned that her story might become a movie. This revelation startled the undercover cop, who sensed the motive behind Ida's involvement in the murder case: Ida's desire for fame. Simultaneously, in an office within the jailhouse, a police captain monitored the conversation between Ida and the undercover cop. Ida's discussion of turning the story into a movie disturbed the captain, considering the gravity of the crime. Unbeknownst to Ida, her revelation about the potential cinematic adaptation of the events would later play a significant role in the unfolding investigation. The captain, forming a theory about the case, recounted the events leading up to Ida's revelation. 6 days earlier, Melanie Erb, the victim, had disappeared. Ida, seemingly out of nowhere, had approached the police claiming knowledge of Melanie's whereabouts. Despite the lack of evidence linking Ida to the murder, the detective handling the case remained skeptical. Ida's mysterious insight led the detective to schedule a helicopter search of Lopez Canyon. Ida agreed to accompany the police to locate Melanie's body. Astonishingly, Ida later returned to the police station, claiming to have found the body herself with her children in tow. The detective, perplexed by Ida's actions, had her arrested, hoping the pressure of incarceration would prompt her to reveal more details. Days passed, but Ida remained silent. However, on the 4th day of her detention, a crucial phone call reached the police captain. 3 men had been arrested, confessing to the murder of Melanie Erb. The phone call changed the entire narrative of the case. Ida was not the perpetrator. She had unknowingly led the police to the crime scene. Released on the same day, Ida's peculiar case took a turn when she sued the police department 6 years later. The jury, convinced of Ida's psychic vision, ruled in her favor. Despite the misconstrued notion that she sought fame, Ida never pursued recognition for her involvement. The real perpetrators were brought to justice, and Ida's extraordinary story remained untold on the silver screen. On the evening of November 7, 1860, a 51-year-old American statesman entered his modest 2-story residence in Springfield, Illinois. Despite his exhaustion, a profound sense of joy enveloped him as he clutched a telegram confirming his hard-earned election victory. Earlier that night, he had celebrated the triumph, but now, fatigued, he sought refuge in his home. Illuminating his path with an oil lamp, he made his way to his study, where he carefully placed the telegram beside the lamp on his desk. Wearied, he sank into a sofa, intending to retire for the night. Within the confines of his dwelling, he picked up on an unsettling sight in a mirror on the wall. Staring back at him was not only his own fatigued countenance, but an eerie visage resembling that of a corpse. Startled, he sat upright, unable to comprehend the spectral presence beside his reflection. Intrigued yet unnerved, he approached the mirror for a closer inspection. To his surprise, the apparition vanished upon closer proximity, leaving only his own reflection. Shaking off the uncanny experience as a product of fatigue and perhaps a fleeting dream, he reclined once more on the sofa, attempting to dismiss the disconcerting episode. However, as he stole another glance at the mirror, lying down, the dual images reappeared, his own face and the phantom-like countenance. Disturbed, he hastily left the room and sought the solace of his bedroom, where his devoted wife awaited. His wife, a staunch spiritualist, listened attentively as he recounted the perplexing mirror revelation. Initially intrigued, her demeanor shifted abruptly to one of distress. In a trembling voice, she conveyed her interpretation. He would serve honorably during his first term in office and secure re-election, but tragically, he would not survive the subsequent term. Dismissing the foreboding prediction, the statesman reassured his wife, attributing the vision to exhaustion and urging her to disregard it. Despite his attempts to downplay the incident, his wife remained troubled by the ominous premonition over the following days and weeks. As time passed, her anxiety gradually subsided, yet the statesman himself largely forgot about the peculiar mirror episode. Undeterred, he went on to serve a successful first term, securing re-election. Tragically, on April 14, 1865, during the final act of a play in Washington, D.C., an assassin named John Wilkes Booth stealthily approached the statesman, now the President of the United States in his second term, and fatally shot him in the back of the head. Thus, the mirror's premonition proved tragically accurate, foretelling the untimely demise of Abraham Lincoln in his second term. On April 1, 1984, James Sire, a 28-year-old man with a passion for climbing, found himself in a dire situation. Upon awakening, he discovered his body buried in snow, tinged red with what appeared to be blood. Attempts to breathe were met with searing chest pain, and a disturbing realization dawned as he moved his tongue around. His mouth was filled with a strange substance and shattered teeth, identified as blood. Panic set in as he struggled to lift his arms, one unresponsive and the other causing excruciating pain. Surveying his surroundings, he noticed a colossal snow-covered mountain, triggering a flood of memories. James, a self-described climbing nomad, recalled being in the Canadian Rockies with his friend Richard Whitmore. They had attempted to scale Mount Deltaform, an 11,000 feet tall peak. Their climb took a disastrous turn when an avalanche struck, resulting in a harrowing fall of about 140 stories, taller than the Empire State Building. As James grappled with the intense pain and confusion, he spotted Richard's lifeless form nearby. Overwhelmed by anguish and facing the harsh reality of their isolation, James contemplated the inevitable. Stranded far from civilization, with no rescue in sight for at least 4 days, he resigned himself to the idea of succumbing to the elements. However, a mysterious turning point awaited him. After about 20 minutes of numbness and hypothermia setting in, a voice pierced the desolate scene. A woman appeared behind him, encouraging James not to give up. Despite the initial shock of her presence, her calm demeanor transformed his mindset. Fueled by her support, James resolved to fight for survival. Following the woman's guidance, James, crippled by pain, managed to put on his coat, take a painful sip of water, and detach from Richard's lifeless body. With the woman's assistance, he struggled to his feet, and they began a treacherous journey away from the mountain. Throughout the grueling trek, her calming presence and unwavering encouragement spurred James forward. After enduring hours of agonizing pain, James reached the campsite he and Richard had established. However, the woman who had guided him vanished without a trace. Undeterred, James attempted to access his tent for warmth and sustenance. Yet, his battered hands and failing body thwarted his efforts. As James faced the possibility of succumbing to his injuries, real voices emerged. 3 skiers, one of them an experienced mountain guide and another a nurse, stumbled upon him. Swiftly recognizing the severity of his condition, the nurse provided essential care, while the guide went for help. A helicopter eventually airlifted James to safety, marking the beginning of his arduous journey to recovery. In the aftermath, James hesitated to share his encounter with the mysterious woman, fearing skepticism. Eventually, he learned that others had experienced similar phenomena, known as the third man effect. Whether supernatural or a psychological survival mechanism, the presence of an invisible helper during traumatic events remains a fascinating and unexplained phenomenon. Today, we will explore 3 narratives that may initially seem fabricated, yet they are, in fact, entirely factual. Prior to delving into these intriguing tales, if you have an affinity for the peculiar, enigmatic, and dark, Presented in a narrative format, you've found the perfect destination. We specialize in such stories and share a new episode every week. If this resonates with you, the next time you visit the like button, consider sneaking into its residence and swapping all its shoe insoles with pudding skins. Additionally, please subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to stay updated on our weekly releases.